How good was that, Eels fans? We finally got in the winners column for 2025. I just got back from the footy and wanted to do a bit of a, recap of my thoughts from the game and just talk through it, show a few video clips from the match itself, and then also talk through some of the stats, because we're probably not going to win many games while Mitch Moses is out, but if we keep playing like today, that's certainly not going to be the case. I think we're going to win a lot more, and the boys today, I thought, played really well. It wasn't one of those games where we sort of got a lucky win or anything like that. We had to fight for it, especially coming back from 20 points down to 8. That I think showed some true character and showed sort of where we're trying to build under Jason Riles. And I think it goes to also some of the signs we saw in that Bulldogs game. If Mitchell Moses had played in that Bulldogs game, we probably win rather comfortably. We definitely won the forward battle, and we sort of let that one slip away. And, I didn't really get the feeling that was going to happen today. Even when we were down by 12 points, I thought we were still very much in it, and we just needed to bounce to the ball to get things going and then go from there. But to sort of see the young bucks step up, like Riley Smith and Isaiah Iongi in particular, I thought were, awesome, right? They helped us get that win today, and that's a huge thing for their confidence and for their future in our team. And, Isaiah made a pretty big error towards the end of that game that I think probably would have cost us on another day, where he threw that pass to Sean Russell when he knocked it on. There was no need to do it. We would have started a set of 6 in their half, but, it is what it is. He's a young kid. He's going to make those errors, and it was sort of good to see all the other things that he did today. The talk will be about Gutherson scoring 2 tries and getting the try assist, but, Isaiah got a try himself, got a try assist himself. That first try I'm going to show you in a second, I thought showed, his mentality, and his running game today was also pretty darn good. He ran for, I think, 222 meters, highest out of any player. I'm going to show those stats in a sec. And it was pretty exciting to see. And Junior Paulo as well. I'm just going to be rambling now because I'm trying to recap the game, but Junior Paulo easily had his best game of the season, and it was that one hit in Clemmer in particular that I saw, hey, he's on today and he's going to take the boys with him, because he sort of went above and beyond to sort of bash blokes and try and win that ruck. You think he played 73 minutes, unreal for a forward, especially in that heat. And it was just really good to see. That was vintage Junior Paulo, and I hope we see more of it, because the boys sort of need him to be firing for them to sort of go to that next level themselves, right? He's an out-and-out leader, and we need a bloke like him sort of laying down the foundations. And it wasn't just him. Like I mentioned a bit earlier, Riley Smith was also super energetic, like we've seen time and time again. I think the second he can, play 80 minutes, he's going to have that position for a very long time. And it's sort of exciting to see. He reminds me a lot of Reid Marnie, to be perfectly honest with you. Maybe it's the stature, maybe it's the headgear, but he's got that energy about him, right? He's going after forwards, off the ball. He's being a mongrel. He's being a pest. He's challenging on everything, right? Even off the ball, he's barking orders at the boys. And that's awesome to see from such a young bloke. And, over the first 4 games that we lost, right, it was a bit embarrassing to sort of see a young kid like him push guys like that and sort of have that energy when others don't, right? You normally see your senior players leading your junior boys, but him coming in and having that energy was a bit embarrassing for our senior leadership. And it's sort of good that he's done that, right? Because he's helped bring some buzz back. But to sort of see him do those things off the ball, to see him pressure kickers like we saw with Ilias when he kicked it out on the full to sort of get us in position for Zach to kick that winning field goal, I thought was also, unreal as well. And that's the sort of energy you need. You want to be competing on everything, not just on every play, but even every single moment, right? Every second he's a pest, he's competing, and that's the kind of energy we need, right? So it's sort of awesome to see that from him. I thought Dylan Walker was unreal. I thought he sort of came on and immediately changed our shape. We looked so much better than we have all season. He played very direct, he played very short, and I think freed up the likes of Hopgood and Dylan Brown to sort of have their linkages and sort of allow them to play football, right? He played very direct, and I thought that changed things drastically, right? I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up in the 13th position very soon, or maybe Jason wants to keep him on the bench, sort of keep that energy. But if Dylan can play like that for more minutes, I think it's crazy to sort of leave him on the bench, right? I can very much see him playing lock and, Hopgood shifting to the middle. Maybe he plays prop and then shifts back to lock once, Dylan Walker maybe needs a spell or something along those lines. But I'm keen to hear what you guys have to say on that one down below. But I thought Dylan Walker brought some much needed shape, and we looked so good the second he came on. And it's no surprise to sort of see him there, that then Dylan Brown has his best game of the season as well, right? That's pretty apparent that goes hand in hand. And I'm really sort of excited to see what that combination will look like when Mitchell Moses returns, right? If Dylan Walker can sort of still do that, I think it's going to make Mitchell Moses, even more dangerous. And then that combination with Riley Smith is going to kick into gear. The combination with Lomax and Moses will kick into gear. I think some really good signs there, especially from these young kids. And I'm excited to sort of see what happens next. And, I just mentioned Dylan Brown a few times. He obviously had his best game of the season. That's not hard to do. He's been pretty terrible. I've been calling for him to get dropped, especially after last week's performance. But let's sort of see how he goes against Canberra in Darwin. I think maybe his confidence might come back and that might allow him to sort of start playing football again. But if he doesn't, Dylan Walker's there to play 6 if we need him to. And let's sort of give Dylan Brown a little bit more time. But we'll sort of see what happens there. I thought he was very good today, like I said, but he made a few errors. There was one line break where I think there was a short ball, I think from Iongi onto Sean Russell where he made a break. And then he passed it to Josh Adokar, if I remember correctly, and then passed it back to Dylan Brown. And Dylan Brown had 2 blokes unmarked on the inside. I think it was Sean Lane and also Isaiah Iongi again. And he didn't see them and decided to try and run around Gutherson himself and sort of bomb the try. And that probably would have been a match winner and allowed us to kick on. So there's little moments like that where he's still not switched on, but let's sort of see what happens next. But anyway, in terms of the stats itself, I thought we could quickly scroll through them. Like I said, Isaiah Iongi had the highest meters for the match, 222. He got 57 fantasy points if you play fantasy. I don't. 23 run meters, 52 kick return meters. I thought the backline did pretty good. Dylan Brown ran for a lot more than what I thought he did just looking at this, 164. Zach Lomax, obviously quite a lot as well. Not so much the heroics, I think, from the Bulldogs game, but clearly ran a lot. And the Dragons boys tried to bash him every chance they could. But the rest of the backline did pretty good. That's surprising to sort of see this from Sean Russell, to be honest, because I thought he ran for a lot less than that. But that's sort of good to see. It's a bit embarrassing from Joe Ofahengawi, to be perfectly honest with you. He went nowhere. And I don't think his spell ended up being for that long. He's a disappointing one. I know a lot of people don't like him. I've been a fan of him since we signed him, to be honest, because I think he has some good energy and he brings some good culture to the club, especially with the Pacifica boys. But, very disappointing from him, especially after last season, because I thought he was one of our best last season. And obviously today he was very, very poor. Dylan Walker, 143 run meters. That was unreal. I thought he made a big difference, and I think he's going to be a big thing for our club. So I think a lot of our success this year is going to come down to him, especially while Mitchell is out. But let's sort of wait and see. Luca, I thought, did good from the bench. He didn't get many minutes today, but I thought he was pretty decent. Charlie Geimer played dual hooker with Jermaine Hopgood earlier in the game, so that was an interesting thing to see. I'm curious to see whether Riles does that moving forward. In terms of Isaiah Iongi, I thought the try he set up was unreal. And I'll quickly go to Junior Paulo in a second, or first, I should say. Junior Paulo had his best game of the season. I think we're going to see that here with this, tackle on David Clemmer to sort of get us back into the game, right? We just conceded a penalty goal, went down 8-2, and Junior basically just crushes Clemmer, which probably a shoulder charge. I don't know. It didn't look like one to me alive, but this is an unreal hit. This is what you sort of need from your leaders, and to sort of have a bloke come out and just bash someone like that to sort of change the momentum of a game is what you need from your leaders. And that's what's been missing for the last 4 weeks. And he absolutely killed Clemmer here. And it was sort of good to see, because like a minute or two later, it basically led to this moment over here with Isaiah setting up this try. And this is awesome too. You can sort of see Dylan Walker getting involved, playing a short ball to Junior Paulo. And then, we have the opportunity here from Isaiah to sort of set up Fox for that try. But it was just the way he sort of engaged with the line. I'll let this play for you until it does happen, because I think it's on the next tackle. But I sort of like this, and I want to see more of this too. There was a spell there where we sort of attacked everything, and Dylan Walker was key to that. But this play here, right, being able to step in and then that cutout ball to sort of Fox is, unreal. It's hard to sort of treat that, or teach that, I should say. That's all instinct. And Isaiah's had some haters in the opening rounds because he's dropped a few balls, made a few errors, but he's a young kid. You're going to see those mistakes happen. You sort of want to sort of see that, youthful exuberance in players, like that error that he made late in the game as well. Like these moments here are hard to teach, and you sort of seeing this from a rookie, and to try and do that is awesome. And maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm pretty happy with how he performed today, and I've been pretty happy with how he's played all season. And obviously he's made mistakes, like I said, but they're going to happen, right? You need to let the kids be kids, let them have fun, let them go out there and just do what they want to do, and sort of build and sort of get that culture going. And I think we're starting to see the signs of that. So there's a few other things that popped up throughout the game that I thought were pretty key. Obviously, Zach Lomax's field goal and the like, and a few other moments in defence. There was one other awesome play from Isaiah where Gutherson was going for his hat-trick, basically made a line break, if I remember correctly, and then he was one-on-one with the fullback. He decided to try and go himself. Isaiah crunched him, so Guther basically blew that play. And then the next play was they put in a grubber behind, and Isaiah was that marker, obviously, but he got there to clear the grubber, and that's sort of that mentality that you sort of want. And the fact that a kid is doing that, I think, is awesome. So I think the signs are there. I've been pretty happy with the game. All in all, I'm pretty happy. Like, I've rambled on now for 10 or so minutes. With a lot of our players, I thought Dylan Walker, like I said, changed things drastically. So I'm kind of curious to see what happens from there. I thought Jason Riles mentioned a few really good things in the post-match press conference. You guys should check it out if you haven't seen it. But yeah, pretty happy with this game. I'm a bit blurry, obviously, because I haven't watched the game back. I just got back from the stadium, but I'm keen to hear what you guys have to say. I think the signs are there. I think we can jag a win against Canberra if we play like that again today, especially with that heat up in Darwin. So let's sort of see what happens next. But anyway, those are my thoughts for today, and I'm keen to hear what you guys have to say down below. Cheers.